All right, folks, we're at PreconWorld. Jim Murphy is just off stage. He is the Preconstruction Executive at Truebeck, and his topic was dashboards. Jim, how did it go?
I think it went really well. Had a couple technical difficulties with the polling, but I think we pulled it together and able to illustrate what we wanted to show.
Well, I watched the whole thing. It was himself, Jared, and Kalie. They were brilliant, and the way the reaction of the crowd is one thing. That there's been 4 or 5 presentations already, but everyone wanted a piece of you, and they were asking loads of questions. So to have yourself up there, Kalie and Jared, especially Jared on the data engineer side, I think he got a lot of the questions, because I think people understand how important data is within pre-construction, and have a data engineer. It must be like having a new right arm.
It is like having a new right arm. You know, as Kalie described, you know, we had expectations of what we wanted to see and how we wanted to parse this data, but we're not coders. You know, we don't know the first on how to be able to get this. And I think it's brilliant, you know, having a data team at Truebeck, because they've done this in so many different departments. We were the next step. Obviously, we knew we were implementing Destini, and being able to have these dashboards come to life have been just makes my job easier.
Brilliant. Talk to us about the transition. You were with Sage, you moved over to Destini. Talk to us about the process, implementation process, and how long it took you up to get to speed. Do you think, you know what, we're good now?
Yeah, so you know, we're probably a lot of very focused people, and we said, hey, we're gonna do it in 12 months. Beck said, hey, you know, we need a little bit, probably need a little bit more time. We were pretty good, kept us, you know, Kalie keeps us on schedule. A big part of what we did was going through our old database, reorganizing everything from top to bottom, making sure that everything was updated. We obviously do a lot of CLT construction in the Bay Area, especially up in the Pacific Northwest. So we found we had to add a lot of sections in our estimates that weren't clearly defined before, and how those get laid out and goes distributed. Went through, organized all of the data, and the nice thing was that all the attributes are there. So you look at any line, we use a system format, so group phase, but we can be able clearly to see unit format or master format, sort by bid package, sort by accounting code. Obviously, one of the biggest takeaways was how much time before we had Destini that we touched a data point and something was hand entered. And you know, now, you know, from the takeoff, you know, through procurement, through all of the estimating management, and then ultimately into operations, you know, it's got a direct link to Procore. The estimate can flow right in, and you set a budget. And that's kind of a brilliant thing that used to be 9 different pieces of software that someone would touch and be able to look at.
So it's been a game changer when you think about it. I mean, I know you're about 3 years in now. I mean, how comfortable is the whole team with Destini?
So the team took to it, you know, quite well. There was a little bit of push, you know, from Kalie and I to make people comfortable. We have a presentation in 2 weeks. Just to take away, Kalie and I did the advanced class yesterday, focused on assemblies, and then with the Excel dashboards that are integral with the software itself. And so we've done a few things with John Reich, being able to elevate some of those dashboards, being able to do alternate tracking, but it was a really interesting way. We utilized a client bid form, and how easy it was just to take an Excel file, make it, you know, a live document in the dashboard, being able to communicate with the data and how that works. And ultimately, you know, we work on projects, you're client, you know, and deadline driven, and it's the 11th hour when you figured out the estimate, and then now you need to organize it and put it in, you know, some kind of format to be able to present. The really nice thing about the software is that that's inherently built in. So you're not having to go create a report, that report's there. And, you know, whether you print directly from the estimate or utilize one of the Destini dashboards, that information is there and able to be organized. You're not trying to transpose numbers quickly into an Excel spreadsheet. It's inherently connected.
Yeah, the dashboards was fascinating when Kalie was talking about it. How important have they been, especially when it comes to presenting to the client and keeping the client up to date, keeping collaboration, keeping transparency?
Yeah, I think, you know, the Power BI dashboards that we do right now, the 2 that we've done, you know, that are complete, you know, is the ability to track historical costs. So you put together an estimate, how does it compare? What are the difference? What are the key performance indicators? Why does my project cost something different than the norm? So that's been extremely useful, especially, you know, on the management side. The Precon Health Dashboard also allows us to see what are the things that, how are we doing compared to the budget? How are we doing in buyout? What are the risks? What's the roadmap, for the project? That definitely helps. On our roadmap, we have a client-facing dashboard that'll also communicate that information. I think one of the other answers to your question, though, that right now, with the ability to have alternates in Destini, and I know it's a feature set that's going to get improved and come out as part of the estimate, but that's been a game changer for us this year. We work on big projects. There's quite a lot of different cost decisions early on, and it's nice having the software that just able to allow you to have real-time estimating. You can make an update, you can see how something might change, accepting or rejecting or pending an alternate.
Yeah, and I think that the one thing that Kalie mentioned, or it might have been you, was letting the client know about the risks within the dashboard. So like the risks that are coming up or what's next in the project.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's really our third dashboard that we're trying to produce. It'll be a quick snapshot, like where we are in the estimating process, what dollars have been expended to date, and our pre-construction value, how's the project tracking, what are the big risks coming up, in the last couple of years, we've gone through some unprecedented, changes where all of a sudden, roofing materials have, escalated 12%, a month, it seemed like. But the things that are important on a project usually are looking at our long lead items, making sure that we're ordering stuff early and making decisions on the things that we need to make a decision on. And yet, there's other items that probably don't need a decision right now. They're not fundamental to the next steps that the design team's trying to get through in the design.
Brilliant. Now I want to paint the picture here for my next question. Truebeck seemed to be actually killing it. Tell me about the revenue at Truebeck, and then talk to me about the pre-construction team, the setup, because it's. I was speaking to other companies here today, and they're a little bit envious that you've got, I think, 3 data engineers. Tell me about that and the vision of how that was formed.
Yeah. So Truebeck itself, so we're $1 billion a year company, so we've had that infrastructure to do that work. Through the last couple of years of the pandemic, we've kind of hovered, a little bit beneath that. But the infrastructure we set up with the teams has been, established to be able to do that pretty effectively. We have 30 people in our pre-construction group, focused through the 4 offices, ranging from, people that work specifically in self-perform work, which obviously, is a revenue strategy for Truebeck, and as well as, we have specialty MEPF estimators. We do a lot of complex technical projects. We need that experience. Our CTI team, so it's Construction Technology and Innovation, is what encompasses the data team. Justin Porter, that leads that group, is just he's an amazing individual. He always has looked to the future, what we can do, and been able to integrate so much of the way that we, manage our projects, from being able to laser scan a floor while we're pouring concrete, know exactly, if we have an issue, allowing the team to adjust, to really having, focused teams, leading true BIM coordination, being able to analyze, working on a project right now that we're doing, we have like 12 new buildings that are all prefabricated and ultimately going to be built as a prefabricated item. So the level of BIM being able to manage to get into manufacturing is different than just necessarily field building a project. And people on his team are integral in being able to make the difference in how we do that.
Incredible. It really is incredible. I have to say, $1 billion, it's fantastic. Listen, I want to wish you all the best, and I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. Appreciate it.